Hey friends, and welcome to another video. My name is Stephanie, and today I wanted to talk to you about clutter and how it can actually get in the way of a lot of things in our life. Now, a lot of people will think about minimalism as soon as I mention decluttering, but that is definitely not what I want to talk about today because I am not a minimalist and I honestly never could be. I just love my little knickknacks and I just love my stuff. But I do love to declutter. So I wanted to talk about decluttering and how it can actually help you in so many areas of your life. Because if you can have your home in order, it will be so much easier to focus on the things that truly matter in your life. So you can focus more on spending time with the Lord. You can spend more time with your family. You can spend more time doing things that you want to do instead of constantly having to pick up all the stuff, having to clean every single thing in the house, because when you have your home in order, your life will be so much easier. So let's talk about that today. Now, there are many reasons why getting rid of things can actually help you. And it doesn't only feel amazing, it actually has a ton of benefits. And today I wanted to share a couple of them that actually have more to do with homemaking/motherhood, because I really do believe that these things can actually help you when you're a mom and when you're a homemaker. So I wanted to focus in on that. So these are a few of my favorites. But like I said, there are many more reasons for why being good at decluttering can actually help you in life. But let's just start right away and start with the first one, which is it will give you more mental clarity. And every time I think of this one, it feels kind of funny to me, but it actually is true. Having less stuff will give you more mental clarity. Now, having less stuff means that you have less to worry about, less to think about, less to have in your mind, so to speak, so you can actually use less brain space for the stuff. Now, let me explain. That could be when you have something that you don't really have a spot for because you have so much stuff that you don't really know where to put it. So instead of putting it on the table, you think, where am I going to put this thing? You know what? I'll just put it in this cupboard. And then you put it there. And the next time you open that cupboard, you're like, right. I still needed to get a home for this thing. You know what? This is actually not the spot. Let me put it in another cupboard. So you put it somewhere else. And the next time you open that thing, you're like, right. I still need to think about this. And every single time that happens, you are actually using your brain to do something that you shouldn't be doing, honestly. You should just have a spot for every single thing that you have, which we're going to talk about later on. But you really need to know, where am I going to put all the things? Because if you don't, you're constantly thinking about, okay, what do I have? Where do I have to put it? How am I going to clean all this stuff? How am I going to make sure that my house will look clean and tidy when I have all this stuff? So you're constantly using your brain in order to actually keep your home somewhat tidy. But if you would just declutter, you have less things to worry about, so you wouldn't use as much brain space. So having a little amount of things will actually help you to free up some brain space. Now, again, I am not a minimalist, so I'm not saying that you need to get rid of everything, but I do want you to always think about, is it worth having? Do I really need to keep this? And is this serving me in some way? It could be that you use it all the time or something that just brings you a lot of joy, but make sure that it actually serves you in some way, shape, or form. Now, another big perk for us as homemakers is that when you have less stuff, you also have less to clean, so it will give you a shorter to-do list, which again will give you less to do in your brain. So you will actually feel so much calmer because you know that your house is tidy, you have everything done that you needed to do. And because you don't have to worry about that certain thing 20 times a week, it actually is a lot easier not to worry about what you have to do and to just live in the moment. Now, another thing that I really love is that when you declutter often, it will also get you into a different mindset. You begin to realize that you don't actually need as much as you thought you needed. Plus, it will actually make you aware of what you buy and if you actually truly need it, because if you buy the new thing, it will add clutter to your home, and is it actually worth it? So I really love that it changes your mindset from I need all the things to do I actually need everything? And with that, because you think about, okay, do I really need it? You are gonna notice that you actually purchase less, because you will soon realize that a lot of the things that you used to buy are not actually necessary. And from there, you will actually save money. So that is a great side effect of decluttering, because from decluttering, you will notice, okay, I have so many things. I really need to do something about this. And from there, you will actually save money because you buy less, which is something that we probably all could use, because a lot of us as stay-at-home moms and homemakers, we are often living on one income, so we don't want to spend too much money. So having to spend less in whatever way is actually great. So we will actually get out of the consumerism mindset, and we will start to look more towards, okay, I'm very grateful for what I have. How can I use what I have? And how can I focus more on, okay, what can I do with the things that we already own, instead of always buying the next new thing, the next shiny object that will come across from your favorite influencer. And instead of doing that, we will focus more on, okay, do I actually need this? Now, another great thing about decluttering is that it will actually give you a lot more time. Now, obviously, this is not going to happen immediately, because you do have to put in the time to actually get the stuff out of your house. But once you have taken that stuff out of the house, you will have more time on your hands. And that will probably be because, like I said, you have less to clean, less to put away, so you have more time to do other things and to do the things that are actually important. So you might say, okay, I don't have to clean as much, so I can actually spend more time reading my Bible, because you will have more time to spend with God. And this is one of those things that I hear women say often, is I don't have time to read my Bible. And first of all, I don't really agree with that, because if something is a priority, you can actually make it happen. But that is a discussion for another day. But when you have more time on your hands, you can actually spend more time with God. So you can say, okay, usually when the children are playing, I would have to clean my home, or I will go upstairs and clean the bathroom, for example. But now you can actually say, hey, I've already done everything. My children are playing. I'm actually going to sit down, grab a cup of tea, and I'm just going to read my Bible. I'm going to read Proverbs, or I'm going to pray. I'm going to just be quiet and listen to what the Lord wants to tell me. So you can actually, instead of cleaning all the time, you can say, okay, Lord, I really want to spend time with you. So instead of cleaning, I'm going to sit with you. And that is an amazing way to fill up your time. Now, another thing that you can do that we all know as mothers is something that we want to have a lot of, and that is time with our kids. And you can actually combine time with God and time with kids in a way. Like I said, when your children are playing, you can just sit with them and you can read your Bible. So you're spending time with your children in a way. But you can also go outside. You can do more craft projects. You can read books together. There are so many things that you can do when you free up some time in your day, because you don't have to take care of all your stuff. So if that isn't encouragement enough, then I don't know what is, because this is honestly the most important thing that we can have, and that is more time. Because I've heard this many, many years ago, and it keeps coming back to my mind, and that is time is the only limited commodity. So that means that the only thing that we will never get back is time. So the more time we can free up, the better. Now, another thing to keep in mind is something that I've already mentioned, but that is make sure that everything has a home. Everything that you own needs to have a spot where you can keep it. And that doesn't have to be in a nice container inside of some cupboard. It can also be on your wall if it's something decorative. But make sure that everything has a home, because if you don't have a spot to store it, you might as well just get rid of it. And if you don't want to get rid of it, then you are going to have to make room for it. So what I usually do is every single thing that I have is I'm going to think about, okay, am I ever going to use this again? And if not, I need to get rid of it straight away. Now, I'm not very good at this. I have to admit this, because a lot of times when I have some things, I just really like how it looks, but I just know I'm going to store it somewhere and then I will never touch it again. So you need to do this constantly. I need to constantly go through things and think, have I actually used it in the last couple of months? And will I ever use it again? So be honest with yourself. But a lot of times, if you don't know where to store it, if you don't really want to use it again, then you might just get rid of it, even though it looks pretty, even though you think you could use it someday. Don't keep everything. And then lastly, one of the most important things that you need to do when you start decluttering and when you start giving everything a home is make sure that you know where that thing is. Because I have had so many moments in my life where I put things in a really great spot where I thought, okay, this makes so much sense. And then I forget where that spot is. So don't let that happen to you. And just make sure that everything that you put somewhere that you actually know where it is, and tell the rest of your family as well. So make sure that everybody knows where you store the Ziploc bags, or make sure that everybody knows where the bedding is or other random items. Make sure that everybody knows where it is, because you can find a home for it, but if you don't remember what the home is, it's going to be really hard. But on the flip side of this, if you have less stuff, you will have less spots where that thing could be, so it will be easier to find it. But just make sure that you know where you put it. That's what I'm trying to say here. Now, one last thing that I wanted to mention about decluttering is, as mothers, we all know that a lot of the things that we do will give a message to our children. So if we are women that do not take care of our home well, and if we leave clutter everywhere, it doesn't really teach our children the skills that they need to keep things tidy and clean. So decluttering doesn't only make things easier for us, it will also help your children, and it will teach your children how to actually live in a tidy home and how you can keep the home tidy and clean. So it will teach them to clean up after themselves, to take good care of what they have, to keep your home tidy. So it will really show them, and this is something that we see in Titus 2, where we as women need to teach the younger women how to be good homemakers. And this is one of those things. It will teach our children, how do you be a good homemaker? So those are just some of the things that I believe are very important when we declutter, but there are so many more things that are beneficial when we start decluttering. So if there's something that you think is important to mention here, feel free to do so down below. But these are just a few things that I really love about decluttering. And this is an ongoing process. We are constantly decluttering. We're constantly going through our stuff and thinking, okay, do I actually still use it? And sometimes there are things that I keep because I think, okay, I really like this sweater, for example, and I put it back in my closet. And then a year later, I will go through my closet again and I'm seeing that sweater again and thinking, I actually liked that sweater last year, but I haven't actually worn it once this entire year. So even though I like how it looks, do I actually want to keep it? Because if I don't wear it, then I don't need it. So it will constantly be an ongoing process, and we will constantly look at what we have. Do we use it? Do we need it? Etc., etc. But it is really fun to do it and to make sure that we teach our children how to take care of their stuff and how to take care of the home. So I really hope that this was inspiring to you. And if it was, I would love for you to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps my channel to grow. And I just wanted to thank you for being here. And I hope to see you in my next video.